Hey everybody, Sam Caporn here. I just thought I'd share another video with you this week on a concept called the concussion point. So this concept is more around our riding and our equitation, more so than sort of horsemanship. But what I want you to think about is that every time a horse strikes the ground, if they're going, say, to the right, they're trotting to the right, the left hind leg is it makes it the left diagonal, okay? So every time that diagonal hits the ground, or that leg hits the ground, energy comes up through the horse, and in order for you to stay sitting in the saddle, you have to absorb the concussion somewhere in your body, in your posture. And so from years of traveling around watching different disciplines and riding a lot of different horses, for me, the most important spot that absorbs the concussion is the hip flexor. Okay, it's between the torso and the lower leg and the legs. But sometimes we get caught out having the concussion come out of really strange places in order for us to stay sitting in the saddle. So sometimes if it's not coming out of our hip flexors, you might see it coming as someone's trotting along, just coming out of their elbow like that. Or if someone's riding in a concentrated way, they might be going along and they've fixed all of their lower body, and so the concussion comes out of their head. Or sometimes students come to me and say, I'm having all this sort of trouble keeping this particular foot in the stirrup. You know, it might find that as soon as they're trotting along, that it bounces around and they keep losing that stirrup all the time. That's often because that now has become their concussion point. That's where they're absorbing the concussion. Because if we didn't absorb it anywhere in our body, we'd get to where we bounced and slapped on the horse, particularly in the trot and somewhat in the canter. So I'll give you a quick little go around here on Cherry of a few of those examples of concussion points, and maybe you can identify the one that you might have or that you've struggled with, and maybe how you could move it towards more your hip flexor. I know for me, a lot of it was upper body stuff. I'd be moving my torso like in and out to stay sitting at the trot rather than absorbing it in my hips. All right. So I'll just head on up here and trot back a bit. All right, so here's what we're looking for. Is if I get it going in my hip flexors, what I want to do is keep my upper body and my lower body nice and firm, like nice and structured, but I'm making those movements through my hip flexors. Okay? Rather than perhaps going along and having it coming out of my head or my lower leg. Or maybe even when you see someone, trying to really suspend the trot, and they're leading with their chest and they're trying to get the concussion to come out of their sternum. All right. All of these things can impede the horse's movement and their fluidity, and whether they're able to maintain gait. Okay, so when we start thinking about a horse wanting to break gait all the time, or maybe having a bit of a cranky expression, or feeling a bit resistant when you ask them to stop or to come off your leg, sometimes it can just be from us not really moving in a particular way that allows the horses to feel smooth and feel free. So really start to think about how you could do these particular movements with your hip flexors, learning to kind of keep your upper body nice and fixed, and just letting your hip flexors contract and close and contract and close so that the horse can feel that you're in fluidity with them. So I'm just going to switch my microphone off here. I'm going to trot and can around just for 30 seconds or so, and I'll show you a couple of little examples of where the concussion point is, and see if you can recognize when I'm actually using my hip flexors correctly. All right. So just a few variations there. There's a little concept for you guys to play with. Let me know how you go, and we'll look forward to seeing you in the next one. Thanks, guys.